Ooh. What's up, GameLeapers? It's the Jizz, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the 8 champions who have been changed in patch 12.5 and how they're performing from the buffs and nerfs that the Riot Balance team have given these champions. And some of these, in terms of their win rates, they have improved massively, whereas others, we're not probably going to see them in the meta much longer because they have been nerfed to oblivion. So before we get into all of this detail, make sure if you haven't already to check out the GameLeap website, linked in the description and comment section, because when our challenger players and coaches upload content to there, it is professionally edited. This is original and fresh content. It's not just taken from YouTube and then put on our website. It is new, it is original. We have so many creators making videos for your guys' benefit. So check out the website and get signed up for that exclusive access, and let's get into the 8 champions who have been changed in 12.5. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with the champions who Riot have buffed for 12.5. And the first of these, whose win rate, funnily enough, has actually gone down by 0.15%. How does this make sense? How can you buff a champion and they get worse? Well, for Misfortune, because of the 12.5 changes, this has actually happened. So what Riot did for Misfortune, your W's passive movement speed, this has actually increased when you respawn. So this means because you're getting Strut's passive, you'll be getting out of base quicker and on the map quicker, and it's kind of surprising to see Misfortune's win rate decrease because of this, because movement speed, to be honest, is a pretty underrated stat. But what I think has happened here is just the fact that people are playing Misfortune a little bit more, and she isn't really that great in the meta at the moment, so maybe these new Misfortune players are kind of struggling with her to pick her up and learn the champion, so this is why Misfortune is currently losing despite getting buffed this patch. She's still more than playable though, of course she is. That's why her win rate overall is around 51% across the board, so don't feel bad if you do lock in Misfortune. Now the next buff champion we have to talk about, thankfully this is a bit more logical because this champion's win rate has improved by 1.2% almost because of the 12.5 buffs. And for all you cannon mains out there, so I'm probably talking to like 3 people here, but yeah, your W, the full stack bonus damage, this is increased. So that auto attack from your W, that is dealing more damage, not just in terms of the base damage, but it's also scaling more off your bonus AD and most importantly, your AP. So as you're getting your Rocket Belt, Death Cap, Void Staff, Sonya's, whatever magic damage items you build, your auto attack is going to deal more damage, and it is actually pretty underrated on Cannon, especially in the early to mid game. So let's just say when you get Rocket Belt and you get 90 AP, this auto attack is certainly going to hurt in the later stages of the laning phase, and this makes you even more of a threat on the map, so then you can take over in the team fights like you always have done. But it's weird because Cannon's win rate overall, despite getting buffed, is only around 48.5%. And the reason for this is because Cannon is a ranged top laner. Playing at range is probably the hardest mechanic for most people in this game to do. You know, not getting caught out and being able to have space between you and the enemy champion at all times, it's very difficult and it's demanding. It takes a lot of effort and finger stretching. So Cannon's overall win rate, for sure, you can just press R in team fights and win, but what about the rest of the game? Because this is where lots of Cannon players struggle, but still, I think it's a nice buff, and hopefully the Cannon mains are happy about it. But the champion whose win rate has improved the most because of the buffs that came in 12.5, well, we have to head back to the bot lane here and talk about Samira, because Riot have given Samira another buff, which is good or bad depending on your side of the fence. So what they did is they increased your health and your armor per level, so you're getting more HP and more armor, so you're getting tankier, more durable as the game progresses, and your ultimate's cooldown is now decreased by a few seconds. All of these buffs are really nice for Samira. This gives you better scaling, and it also means that your ultimate, well, hopefully you can get more of these off if multiple fights happen in succession of one another. And for a champion like Samira who does love fighting, these 3 seconds, they're definitely going to mean something in certain games. So these buffs are really nice for Samira, and that's why her win rate has improved by just over 2.6%. That is legit. So overall, in all ranks, her win rate is now over 51%. And for a champion like Samira, who is a very scary champion to buff because of her 1v9 potential and the fact that lots of people just don't like playing against her, this could get very interesting. But now we have to talk about the nerf champions, guys. And if you do enjoy these videos where we let you know what's happening on the rifts, we're updating you on the champions who are good, who are bad, what's happening with their win rates, let us know by smashing that like button. And the nerf champions. So the first one we have to talk about, this is Seraphine, whose win rate has gone up. How does this make sense? Well, Seraphine didn't actually really get nerfed. She's been molded into more of a support than actually a mid laner or even a bot laner. So playing Seraphine support now, because of how your W works, you can see the win rate has improved by over 0.2%. Now, of course, this is not monumental, and there are just under 200,000 games on Seraphine as a support across every elo. So the changes were certainly positive. And if we look a little bit closer, we can see that Seraphine is an AP carry in the bot lane, the same way you might play Ziggs down there or Veigar. She has close to a 53% win rate. This is also improved because of the changes. So Seraphine is kind of underrated. You're probably still better off picking Sona or Soraka, but still, hopefully she's moving in the right direction for all you Seraphine mains. But one champion who got changed in 12.5 and has subsequently been hotfix nerfed, this is Master Yi, and his win rate as a result of all of this has actually decreased since the nerf came in, but it's still a whopping 52% overall in the jungle role, which just goes to show how broken the Wuju Bladesman is. But it's probably a little bit more important now that you do go a critical strike or on-hit build, because the attack damage and lethality you're getting from Duskblade, this is not getting transferred as much back into your abilities. So you're not going to be hitting as hard, so it's probably better if you go Kraken Slayer, Blade of the Rune King, Wit's End, these crit items, these on-hit items. This is the way to play Master Yi. But again, 52% win rate overall, this champion is still broken. Now, speaking of champions who are still broken, another one who got nerfed in 12.5 is the best mid laner in the game still, and this is Ahri. She's still going to be picked and banned in pro play, despite her E's charm costing more mana, and despite her W's damage going down and also the mana cost going up a bit. This isn't really going to mean that much because this champion, her Q does more damage, her E does more damage, her ultimate, you can get 8 spirit rushes off in team fights if you can get them off takedowns. She is just still too good. Now, her win rate overall, we can see is actually below 51%, but the higher you go, because this champion does require some mechanics, and I'd highly recommend checking out our recent Ahri guide, because we walk you through everything you have to know on how to play this champion at a high level. So don't get too fooled by the win rate, because she's still an extremely strong pick, but we can't run from the fact here that the nerfs have meant that her win rate has dropped by over 1%. Now, another champion whose win rate has dropped by over 1%, almost 2% in this case, this is Xin Zhao, who was one of the premier junglers last patch, and for the whole of season 12, to be honest, he has been picked, he's been banned so much, especially in higher levels and in pro play. Well, now I think it's going to change, which is probably healthy for the game, because we can only deal with so many men, because it feels like every game we're seeing Xin Zhao's man bun. So with the nerfs in 12.5 that increased your audacious charges cooldown and also made your invulnerability in your crescent guard a second shorter, this means that Xin Zhao is more killable, and he also won't have the opportunities in terms of ganking and engaging that he once had. This is why his win rate across the board is now just over 48%, and this was above 50% before these nerfs. This is a serious drop off, but it's not as big as the biggest nerfs coming in 12.5, and we've got to head to the top lane for this champion, and this is Gwen, whose win rate, listen to this, overall is 44.6%. This has fallen by almost 2.5%, and it's true, this champion in high reloads performs a little bit better, and she is somewhat difficult to play, but now it doesn't matter what elo you play this champion in, Gwen might as well not even be a champion, because what Riot did, the passive damage against monsters if you're a jungler, this is down, and your E's bonus attack range has been cut in half. This was one of the big benefits of playing Gwen in the top lane, because against melee champions in particular, you outrange them, you can outtrade them because of this, and because of the attack speed the E, well, it's still giving it, but you can get massive advantages because of the bonus attack range. Like, think about lethal tempo and Vayne. It's the same thing, so this nerf to Gwen is absolutely huge, and to be honest, has probably destroyed the champion. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of the 12.5 changes, and as always, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss our future season 12 daily uploads. And until tomorrow's daily upload, this has been the Jizz. Peace.